Welcome to the class. Topic today is somaclonal variation. Somaclonal variation defined as genetic variations among progeny of plants regenerated from somatic cells cultured in vitro. So this term is having these two parts. One is soma and second is clonal. So soma is that somatic cells which we are taking in the form of explants, and when then explants are regenerating into a fully grown plant in tissue culture, so it is expected that all the progeny will be similar to the mother plant. But in some cases, some variations have been observed in tissue culture based plant from the same explant. Such variations are referred to as somaclonal variations. What are the basic features of these somaclonal variations? These are observed due to variation in number and structure of chromosome. Regenerated plants with altered chromosomal changes often show changes in leaf shape and color, growth rate and habit, and also in sexual fertility. It is generally heritable mutations and persist in plant population even after plantation into the field. Somaclonal variations may be either genetic or epigenetic. Genetic variations are those which are heritable variations. These may be due to pre-existing variations in the somatic cells of the explant caused by mutations and other DNA changes, and these occur at high frequency. Whereas the epigenetic somaclonal variations are non-heritable variations, and these are generated during tissue culture due to differences in medium composition or in culture condition. These are caused by temperature changes and occur at very low frequency as compared to genetic variation. How can we isolate these somaclonal variants? This can be done from in case of crop plants with two strategies. First is known as without in vitro selection, and second strategy is with in vitro selection. So first strategy we will discuss first, that is without in vitro selection. In this case, an explant, that may be any part of the plant which we are taking to start our experiment, leaf, stem, root, etc. It is cultured on a suitable nutrition medium that is supplemented with required growth regulators. The unorganized callus in cells do not contain any selective agent here. These cultures are normally subcultured and transferred to shoot induction, that is the medium for regeneration of plants. The so produced plants are grown in pots, transferred to field, and then in field these are analyzed for somaclonal variants. So here first we are raising the plants from explant in lab, and when we have attained a completely grown regenerated plant, this plant is transferred to field, and then analysis for somaclonal variants is done in field conditions. This is outline of this procedure. First, we will take explant. It may be any part. For example, leaf. From leaf, callus is regenerated. Callus is put onto shoot regeneration medium. Then this is transferred to root induction medium, and we have a fully regenerated tissue culture raised plantlet here, which is transferred to field, and then it is screened for desirable traits like for disease resistance, for insect resistance, for some quality parameters like higher yield may be there, enhanced taste, enhanced aroma, a different color of flowers, different color of leaf. So whatever trait you want to improve, you will screen these plants for that desirable trait, and then selection of somaclonal variants is done, and after that agronomic trials are conducted. Agronomic trials means you just want to try what are the best cultivation practices for this plant. What is the soil requirement, what will be the plant to plant distance, and what will be the fertilizer application, how much irrigation is needed. When such trials are conducted, these trials are known as agronomic trials. These are some examples of plants which have been obtained from sumaclonal variations without in vitro selection. So, in case of rice, resistance against Helminthosporium has been achieved. In maize, again Helminthosporium medis. In barley, resistance against Rhynchosporium cicalis. In sugarcane, resistance plant against Puccinia melanocephala or Sclerospora saccharide and Helminthosporium saccharide that causes enphysema has been achieved. In case of potato, resistance plant, monoclonal variants having resistance against Streptomyces callus, Alternaria solani, Phytophthora infestans, potato virus X and Y have been regenerated. In tomato, monoclonal variants have been raised having resistance against Pseudomonas solaniceram and Fusarium oxysporum. In tobacco, resistant plants against Phytophthora parasitica. In apple, against Phytophthora cactonum. In banana, against Fusarium oxysporum. In lettuce, against lettuce mosaic virus. And in alfalfa, resistance plant against Fusarium solani has been regenerated and given good results in experimental conditions and growing in field also. In case of second scheme, that is with in vitro selection. So here, isolation of soma clones with in vitro selection method basically involves handling of plant cells in culture like microorganisms and selection of biochemical mutants. The cell lines are screened from plant cultures for their ability to survive in the presence of a toxic inhibitory substance in the medium or under conditions of environmental stress. So what is done here in this scheme with in vitro selection? First, explant is taken from the mother plant and callus is regenerated from this explant. After that, we will achieve proliferation and maintenance of this callus. On the other hand, we will grow the pathogenic organism if we want to screen a disease-resistant monoclonal variant. For example, this pathogenic organism is raised in lab that is known as bacterial culture or fungal culture. Then we will purify this cultural filtrate and then the toxin which causes disease in the plant is isolated from this culture filtrate. After that, determination is done of this toxin agent for the lethal concentration in the plant. When this concentration is determined, that particular toxin is added into the medium and small pieces of calai is inoculated onto this medium supplemented with toxin. And then we will conduct the selection cycle for 2 to 4 weeks for the isolation of tolerant calai against this toxin. When we get such tolerant calai which are able to grow on this toxin supplemented medium, these calai are regenerated into a tissue culture raised plant having well grown shoots and roots. Then after this screening against this toxin and pathogen, these plants are transferred into the field and they are grown and these are known as progeny clones. These progeny clones from each plant then again tested for disease resistance in field condition also. Then we have disease resistance plant and this is known as somaclonal variants population which is again taken for agronomic trials for the release of this somaclonal variant variety commercially. This list shows the example of such plants which have been raised having disease resistance from the somaclonal variations with in vitro selection. So, in case of rice, pathogenic organism was Xanthomonas oryzae. In wheat, somaclonal variants having resistance against Helminthosporum sativum and Pseudomonas syringae. In barley against Fusarium species, Helminthosporium sativum. In maize against Helminthosporium medis. In sugarcane against Helminthosporium saccharide. In potato against Fusarium oxysporum and Eroshenia Keratovora. And in tomato against Pseudomonas solaniceram and tobacco mosaic virus, in alfalfa against Foxysporum, and in tobacco against tobacco mosaic virus and Pseudomonas syringae. What are the causes of these somaclonal variations? Why these arise in tissue culture raised plant population? So first reason are the physiological cause. What are the physiological cause? It may be due to exposure of culture to plant growth regulators, because we are regenerating plants in lab with the help of plant growth regulators. Different type of plant growth regulators and different concentration of plant growth regulators are being used at different stages. So due to this, there may be evolution of somoclonal variants in tissue culture. And second reason may be culture condition, as we are growing these plants at controlled conditions of temperature, humidity, and photo period. So if there are variations in such culture conditions, there may be somoclonal variants generation in the culture. Second reason may be genetic causes, either by change in chromosome number. If chromosome number is changed, it may lead to aneuploidy or polyploidy. And there may be change in chromosome structure, which leads to deletion, duplication, inversion, or translocation in the chromosome. Or there may be gene mutation, transition, transversion. There may be plasma gene mutation. That means mutation in the cytoplasmic genes. Cytoplasmic genes are present in plant cells due to the cytoplasmic chloroplast DNA and mitochondrial DNA. And there may be due to transposable element activation, transposable elements or transposomes or jumping genes. There may be changes in DNA, changes in protein, or methylation of DNA, which may lead to the generation of these somoclonal variants. Sometimes there are biochemical causes also, like there may be lack of photosynthetic ability due to alteration in carbon metabolism, biosynthesis of starch via carotenoid pathway. There may be changes in nitrogen metabolism, or there may be antibiotic resistance in the plant. These are the factors affecting production of somoclonal variants. First is genotype and explant source. So this factor affects the results of somoclonal variants highly. What genotype you are taking and what is your explant source when you are starting your experiment. Then duration of cell culture. If duration of cell culture is elongated, that means you just increase the cell duration, culture duration. There are more chances to achieve somoclonal variants. Growth hormone effects are there. Different type of growth hormones are being used, so they are causing different effects on the somoclonal variants. Then selection propagule, what you are taking, either these are cells, protoplast or villi. Then your selection agent for somoclonal variants, toxin, herbicide or amino acid analog. Technique used for selection, stability of resistant substance, and in vivo testing procedures, and ability for regeneration of plants. So these are all factors which affects the success of production of somoclonal variants, which will be having desired traits, maybe qualitative traits or quantitative traits, which can be used in improvement programs, and improved varieties can be released for commercial cultivation in farmers' field. What are the advantages of somoclonal variations? These help in crop improvement, as these are having additional genetic variations which are caused in these tissue culture raised plants. So if these are having any desirable traits, they can be used in crop improvement programs, as they may have increased and improved production of secondary metabolites. And we know that secondary metabolites are very useful for humans. They are being used in various industries. They are being used in pharmaceutical industries, textile industries, resin industries. So these secondary metabolites are highly beneficial and they are highly preferred compounds from cell cultures. So if we are raising such somoclonal variants which are having increased and improved concentration of these secondary metabolites, that will be highly beneficial. Then we are doing selection of plants which are resistant to various toxins, herbicides, and high salt concentration and mineral toxicity. By selecting such plants, we can develop abiotic stress tolerant somoclonal variants. and these are also suitable for breeding of tree species. Applications to crop improvement, as these are helping us in improvement of existing clonal cultures. Clonal cultures are the vegetatively propagated plants like sugarcane. In sugarcane, some clonal variants are establishing their importance in selection for higher yield and disease resistance. In potato, we are having some clonal variants for yield. In case of geraniums, geraniums are ornamental flowers. So improved geraniums have been developed with the help of somaclonal variants. In such cases, scented varieties have been produced through somaclonal variants, and these scented varieties are being used for the production of essential oils which are being used in cosmetic industry. Woody ornamentals are utilized for leaf variegations which are used as evergreens in landscapes. Disadvantages and limitations of somaclonal variations. Serious disadvantage occurs in operations which require clonal uniformity, as in the horticultural and forestry crops, where tissue culture is employed for rapid propagation of elite genotypes, and we are anticipating uniformity in such population, and there is presence of such somaclonal variants, so it is not preferred at that time. And mostly these somaclonal variants may lead to undesirable results. Selected variants are random and genetically unstable. It requires extensive and extended field trials for the selection of a successful somaclonal variant. It is not suitable for complex agronomic traits. Complex agronomic traits are those traits which are manifested by the action of a number of genes like yield and quality parameters, and we may develop variants with pleiotropic effects which are not heritable once again. Thank you so much.